Within the How Creepy subreddit, a user by the name of Pickled Filch posted this image, titled "This was sent by my daughter." The photo was taken from our garden's hot tub. Initially, you may believe that there is nothing incorrect with the picture of a typical backyard at night. However, if you look farther away, you can observe what appears to be a pair of hands gripping the fence, as though someone was attempting to get a glimpse before the photo was taken. In the remarks, many users were still unsure of anything strange about the picture, since they believed it was probably just gardening gloves hung by the neighbors while working in the yard. This would appear to be a likely justification. However, another commenter stated that the gloves appear to be placed too far apart for there to be an actual individual behind the fence wearing them. But another user turned down this assertion by looking at the potential fence's measurements and the typical arm length of a masculine human being, saying, "Yeah, I don't think so. The gloves aren't simply falling off. The other side bears all the weight of the barrier without a supporting object for them. The average size of fence slats is 2.5 inches broad. The glove has 7 slats to a glove. That's 3.208 or 38.5 inches. Using Google for roughly 2 seconds indicates that 88.97% of men's arm lengths range from 66 to 76 inches, so it appears to be well inside a comfortable distance to hang. However, never question their gloves. Just consider they are either held to the fence or behind it, either on someone's hands or with something. It doesn't make sense to be too far apart. To this, another commentator commented, stating that they could undoubtedly comfortably hold their hands as far away as separate as seen in the image. Of all these various assertions, one comment was made that the post's original author replied to, displaying a terrifying piece of information about the narrative. It appears that the gloves were simply left on the fence to dry. That's what I did. They relocated. I ran out there really quickly. With this icy response, the writer appeared to support what we observe in the photo. There were more than just gloves unintentionally left there by the nearby residents, but that it was probably an actual person standing there, perhaps stalking his daughter for an unidentified cause. This fact alone is quite unsettling, but the circumstances got even more unsettling when the users began looking over the profile of the OP and discovered that he had some prior safety issues with his daughter. 3 months before this post, the writer had requested assistance on a post by our legal advice UK with the headline, "My adolescent daughter was with her ex-boyfriend, who has since made a counter-argument." The explanation of this message was, "My daughter was by her boyfriend. The cops have contacted us and informed us that he had submitted a counterclaim. However, they refused to disclose what the claim was. The cops inquired as to whether they could take my daughter's phone. A few weeks ago, she received a new phone, so no messages would be sent. She is now concerned because she is unsure. He has informed them that he doesn't want to hand over her phone to the police. Do we need to consult a lawyer or do anything at this point? And can we do anything to discover the nature of the accusation made against her?" Regretfully, this post was later removed by the original poster, but only the title itself introduced an entirely new level of eerie quality that changed the original picture from a straightforward instance of identity into something that may be extremely actual and extremely hazardous. Although we are unable to be certain that the two posts are connected, people were ready to warn in any case, the OP, of the possible risks and provide recommendations about what they ought to do going forward. Regretfully, as of right now, Pickled Filch hasn't created any new information about the post, leaving it an eerie mystery. Unidentified flash drive. A Reddit user with the handle millwhitewan2, The Hunter, posted an unsettling finding in How Creepy. The post title said, "Someone put this on my windshield in the wilderness." The post featured pictures of an enigmatic envelope with a USB drive and a message above that reads, "For good hearts." This was followed by a tiny message that reads, "Truth is one, the lies are numerous." The original billboard clarified that they and their classmates were being collected by water samples at a state river. Upon their arrival back at their vehicle, they saw nothing uncommon until they returned to the university, when a security officer identified the peculiar package on their windshield. At first, I assumed it was merely a parking ticket. They were taken aback upon finding it was, in fact, a USB disk with a warning notice. In the section for comments, several users promptly alerted the OP about the possible risks of the unknown USB, with a single user stating, "Don't connect it to your Wi-Fi, please. Don't put that in your own computer." This is a popular technique for hacking. Most likely, your library doesn't need the installation of a virus or ransomware. Actually, neither. Connecting anonymous USB sticks to a personal computer could load damaging software on your computer. Once compromised, cybercriminals might keep an eye on anything you install and type extra risky programs whenever they desire, entering all of your information and privacy at grave risk. In addition to online dangers, some people believe the package might be an advertising for a faith-based organization. As soon as you take a closer look at the USB drive, on the stick itself, you can see that images of what appears to be a man in prayer. Putting this together with the fact that each of the texts were composed using the packaging for decent souls and the truth is one, the lies are many, makes it appear as though the drive includes religious writings or an invitation to a place of worship. This theory was further validated by a commenter who made the extra effort to discover a connection between the written online text. I searched for the precise words I saw on your photos, and just one subject appeared. The article Metaphysics of Figures. This is where the phrase appeared. Stay on the correct route, but you are unable to study it. You are unable to reveal and gather it. The cause of your inability to discover how to be on the correct track to disclose this outcome to gather and compile is since there is only one truth, and the lies are numerous. More specifically, the truth is similar to lies in this regard. A point in relation to every other component that form a circle, and it's far away, of an object being struck. It's pretty challenging to reach and maintain this goal. Observing your post while unable to view every additional word, it does appear like the previous line, which expresses the truth is one that is comparable to this article. I could be incorrect. However, those terms, when looked up, appeared on only 2 websites, one of which was your post and the other was this one. Following an attempt to search for the term, the truth is one, and the lies are many, on the internet, I was welcomed with the findings of mostly Quranic references about the truth and deception, thereby verifying the potential for the USB drive to hold religious writings. Despite the overwhelmingly positive recommendations regarding the package's contents, the original poster does not specify whether in the end, they chose to look into the drive's contents, leaving us to ponder what possible hazards or mysteries might occupy the USB stick. Tree lights on the or unexplained subreddit. User-assisted Money 3975 published an enigmatic post with the title Weird Smoky Mountains Lights, sharing pictures and a strange flashing video of lights in the middle of the forest. What on earth is that? The post's description stated, "Does anyone recognize these lights? I was in the Smoky Mountains National Park, hiking. I noticed some rather odd lights in the park. Was camped close to Gregory Bald around 4,700 feet above sea level. At night, approximately 9 p.m., about 200 lights of very white orbs began to emerge on the ridge, shimmering through the woods. Initially, I believed it to be a search team, but I discovered that the swinging trees in the wind were giving the impression that they were moving. They weren't really moving, though. After 20 minutes, they all began to dim out at random without any particular pattern where the lights are located on the map we're traveling from, was situated in the center of nowhere and lacked any development at all. No roads, just one trail, a few creeks. I've got a video too, but it is not as vivid as the pictures. This occurred approximately 1 month ago during the winter. Observing the pictures and the video given, it could appear that the lights are caused by other park visitors or campers or rangers with flashlight-like devices. However, the author adds in the comments saying he doesn't believe the origin was human action, stating, "According to what I understood, it is quite improbable that this was brought on by another hiker, or perhaps a human. For the reasons listed below, it was quite cold, in the 20s F. Most hikers aren't just walking on a mountain at night. Few people were initially on the trail. The pattern was quite arbitrary. Let me understand what you believe this to be." Consequently, numerous individuals were questioned by this occurrence, and few provided recommendations for the causes of the light's existence, stating that it was the Brown Mountain lights. The lights of the Brown Mountains are an unaccounted-for light phenomena that were noticed close to North Carolina's Brown Mountain. These observations of bright spheres and light forms have been documented since the early 1900s. In spite of recommendations of a wide range of theories from electrical occurrences in the atmosphere to reflection of light from automobiles, scientists have not yet discovered a thorough justification that tackles every instance of this documented phenomenon. In addition to the myth of the Brown Mountain Lights, to learn more, see the more rational justifications for what the OP was having while trekking. I attempted looking for anything on the internet that would be connected to this interaction, and after a while, I discovered events known as nacreous clouds, which are unusual cloud shapes visible early in the morning or late at night. These clouds in the polar regions exhibit a characteristic iridescent pearl-like colors and are visible when the sun is barely over the horizon, generating light from below, increasing its frequency of visibility at high elevations. This may very possibly be the reason why the author's lights were visible at 9 p.m., slowly, and at a high altitude, began to vanish after a while. Although there are numerous ideas to possibly clarify what is visible in the post's pictures, there's no last response, as the OP stated he did not succeed in figuring it out in the end. Additionally, despite sending the park ranger an email, he left without receiving a response. The origin of the enigmatic lights are unknown.